Let's move on to our next story, which is that comedy lost one of its great joke writers this week. It was announced that today Barry Cryer has died at the age of 86, Sajila.
Oh, this really is so sad. Barry Cryer, an absolute, you want to know, there he is, beautiful Barry Cryer, an absolute legend, you know, himself worked with legends, and he's a father of four to Tony, David, Jack, Bob, and been married for 60 years to Terry, died at the age of 86. And it's a, I mean, I know it's 86, but it's a terrible loss. And we've all, every comic on the circuit, or every, comedian, any comedy lover will have come across Barry Cryer's work one way or another. And I didn't know he'd written for, some of my heroes, like he'd written for Dave Allen, which was my inspiration to get him, Tommy Cooper. And actually it was...
Even Richard Pryor.
Richard Pryor! I mean, it's incredible. And also David Frost, not the politician-y one, the original David Frost who used to be on our telescope.
Yeah,
he found him and he used to write for David Frost, he was again, another legend. And
John
it's
Cleese,
a real
the two
loss.
Ronnies, it is a real loss.
George Burns, Jasper Carrott. Yeah.
The thing about great writers, like he was probably a better writer than he was a performer. He was a good performer, but he was never a household name as a performer. And we don't know the jokes that he wrote. You know, we'll think that Ronnie Barker did that joke because it came out of Ronnie Barker's mouth. That's what always happens with the great writers. But you can see the way that comedies come together over this. They all know what a brilliant writer Barry Cryer was. And he was so prolific. He was writing gags right up to the day he died. Never stopped hustling.
Yeah, I wrote for Will Smith once, but I don't really talk about it. His list of credits...
This isn't about
I know,
Nick.
but you just opened the door for me. But no, it's an incredible list of credits, and I love this thing that he said. He said, it reminds me of sort of showbiz quiz. He said, I haven't had a career, just a series of incidents. I've been dogged by good luck all my life. So that reminded me of me, except the good luck bit. But that's what it is like. That's what this business is like. Things happen. It's like you don't know where your next job's going to come from. So I like that. Also, it reminded me of a time when comedy was about jokes and laughter rather than ideology and infighting. You know what I mean? It was just pure then, it seems to me.
Can I just say, he was such a lovely man.
He was.
Well. He was a beautiful, kind, lovely man. Many times let me into his show for free, which, was just generous.
Yeah, I used to be the resident host at still am occasionally, at the King's Head, downstairs at the King's Head, and he would always come down there. And he was always very respectful, and he always seemed to know who you are. That's one of the things you find in the entertainment business is nobody knows who anyone else is. But he would always seem to know who you were, and if you were at the foothills of comedy or right up at the peak, he seemed to treat everyone with equal respect.
Yeah,
a good man, and he had a good innings, and he sounds like, there's no nice death, but it sounds like he had as nice as death as you can have.
But before we finish on this, can you
you
perhaps take his favourite joke, which is at the end? I think it's just a befitting tribute. It's his own personal favourite joke.
In 2013, Barry Cryer was asked by the Yorkshire Post for his favourite joke, and he answered, a man drives down a country lane and runs over a cockerel. He knocks at a nearby farmhouse door, and a woman answers. I appear to have killed your cockerel, he says. I'd like to replace it. The woman replies, please yourself, the hen's around the back.